All right, friends, back here with you. Another episode of Move the Sticks. Hello, everybody. Rhett Lewis, Bucky Brooks. We'll get DJ back a little bit later in the week. But, Bucky, you were a busy man last night following the Monday night debacle
Yeah,
for the
I
boys
don't,
from Duval.
I don't know how busy I was. I was there. I
Yeah,
was in attendance.
you were there.
We're gonna spin it positive. Let's
Yeah,
focus on the team that played really well, and that would be the
let's do
Buffalo
that.
Bills. And I'm gonna say this: like, it's my first. No, it's not my first time. It's my second time watching Josh Allen up close in
Yeah,
person. And I will say, Rhett, like from the time that I watched him when he was coming out of Wyoming at the Potato Bowl, I went to Boise to watch him play in a bowl game, to watch him at the Senior Bowl, to then watch him kind of go from afar in the NFL. He is a completely different guy than the guy I remember at as a senior, as a junior before he came
sure.
out of Wyoming. And one, prototypical size, great athleticism, tremendous arm talent, but the strides that he has made as a playmaker to me are nothing short of remarkable. He has kind of learned when to insert himself into the game and when to kind of just let the system work for him.
Yeah,
He has and look, we said this prior to the season. The Pat Mahomes thing was really going to reveal how good Josh Allen is. Meaning, you take away Stephon Diggs, you now put more on him to play with more unheralded playmakers. What would this offense look like? And talking to some of the people for the Bills, addition by subtraction. By
uh-huh.
removing Stephon Diggs, you kind of took the crutches away from Josh Allen, and he is now doing more stuff, more command of the offense, greater control, utilizing all of the options within the concept as opposed to getting stuck on one guy. And what you're seeing is a more efficient, a more effective, and I will say this, a more dangerous playmaker at the quarterback position than we've ever seen before.
Wow. And that's saying a lot from a guy, who has been an MVP contender for the last few years and certainly is that now at this point. And I'm just looking at, guy completed passes to 10 different players in this game. Khalil Shakir has become
Yeah.
what the Bills needed him to, which is a guy that Josh can rely on. 6 catches on 6 targets. Doesn't get much more efficient than that. James Cook has continued to kind of be, the force in the ground. Look, they weren't great on the ground last night. Didn't really have to be. Josh was cooking, and he was their leading rusher. But what James Cook can do through the air is an important piece of where the Bills will go on offense. 4 catches, 48 yards. And then, both the tight ends caught passes in this game as we kind of thought that they would be a bigger piece of the plan without Stephon Diggs. And I gotta say, obviously Josh Allen is rolling and the offense
Mhm.
is rolling, but this Bills defense has been hit with some pretty significant injuries, over the course
Mhm.
of the last couple of years. Matt Milano being out for the better part of the last 2 years, including, this season, I think has been, a big loss, but they have found ways to not necessarily replace, but to find that production from the second level, elsewhere. So credit to what they're doing on defense too. DeMar Hamlin gets the interception in this game, which was kind of, obviously fun to see given his evolution over the last year or so. So yeah, a lot of positivity for the Buffalo Bills. What do we say about the team that is riding an 8-game losing streak with Trevor Lawrence as its starting quarterback?
Look, man, I would say it is exactly what it looks like. The team is struggling in all areas, and you see a team that doesn't have a lot of confidence. You also see a team that, um, uh, look, I think the team is good, but sometimes you can have a lot of good players without a great player, and the team just kind of languishes.
Yeah.
Um, I think when you look at the roster and you try to figure out how many blue chip players the Jaguars have, you might come up with one, and that one would be Josh Hines Allen. Maybe like you could throw him in there. But outside of that, you don't have a blue chip player. And when we talk about winning championships, like the thing that I was always given as a scout, they were talking about it takes 8 to 12 blues to be able to compete at a championship level. Like you have to have 8 to 12 that are, and by blues we mean top 10, top 5 in their respective positions league wide to be able to compete at a championship level. And if I'm struggling right now to tell you that they have one, that's problematic. And it also shows up in a game against the Buffalo Bills. where you may have more guys that are playing at a blue level, and Josh Allen and Von Miller looking like he's a blue again, and Gregory
Yeah.
Rousseau and Ed Oliver. You see the wide disparity between how one team is playing versus how the other team is playing.
So that's troubling, obviously, on a number of fronts, for Jacksonville that is, kind of had this run of issues here over the course of, the last half of last season. And then obviously what we've seen so far this year. But I think it's amplified, obviously, when you pay the quarterback. And the quarterback has not been able to, lift all boats with his tide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rising tide lifts all boats. He has not been that tide that you would expect from a player, that is worthy of that kind of financial and, organizational wide commitment to be the number one quarterback and to be that guy. And he's admitted it for his part, right? He's like, look, I have not played as well as I need to play for this team. And that's for sure. So are you saying then, Buck, that, Trevor needs to play beyond what we've even seen him at his best in order to rise this group?
I would say that I think there are a lot of lessons that could be learned from Trevor last night. And I think looking across the field at how Josh Allen performs, Trevor has to channel a little more of that in terms of, like, the one thing that we always could say good, bad, or indifferent about Josh Allen, he was very aggressive and very decisive in terms of how he played. We thought sometimes it was borderline reckless in terms of the way that he threw his body around and did some of those things. But what you never could question was he was going to go down as a gunslinger and with aggression, putting it on his shoulders. Trevor is a little more reserved. And I could give you an analogy. He reminds me of Ice in Top Gun. So you remember when Maverick was kind of like the daring one, he would take the shot, would just kind of go for it. Whereas Ice was always looking for like the perfect shot before he would fire. A little bit
more methodical.
And they had that scene in the locker room where Ice would tell Maverick, "You're reckless, and you have to go for it. You're dangerous." You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you look at Josh Allen and you see that, but then you see the evolution of how he's been able to kind of like tone that down when needed.
Right.
You need Trevor to maybe ramp it up and take more chances and be a little more daring. Because when you are the guy that is not only the blue player, the player that you're paying like a blue, you need him to elevate his game. And the only way he can do it is he kind of, I would say, care less and just go for it. Because I think you can live with the mistakes if he's going for it. But what you don't want is someone who has the talent to do those things, but is always so reserved and conservative that he never lets himself go.
Yeah, and I think that's a great analogy and a really intriguing point to make here on this game. Certainly, Trevor, stats don't always tell the story, but it sounds like what we're saying from a talent evaluation standpoint with this team, what they need from him goes far beyond 21 to 38 and $178 through the air. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, we're not saying that like that's the story of this performance, but they need much more than that for this team to be a consistent winner. I think where we're at.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If we go back in trucks and trailers analogies, right?
Oh yeah,
they need him to be the truck, and it has to be clear. It's clear and apparent that he is the truck that is driving everybody. Because when you look at the perimeter, like, you can't say that the rest of the team is going to carry him. Brian Thomas Jr. is good, not quite ready to say, hey, he's going to elevate the quarterback. And so it needs to be the quarterback that elevates everybody else. And so, he needs to channel some of that Josh Allen superhero playmaking ability and find a way to do that. And look, I know, like, it's that fine line between pressing to try and do too much and not do enough. But I think we're at the point of the season where when you're looking at him, he has to exhaust all his options. And sometimes the best option is you doing more.
And they need more of everything here moving forward. Okay, let's switch gears. And really, it was the game of the night, and it's the storyline of the week and maybe the season, Bucky Brooks, and that is the
Jaden
play,
Daniels.
number 2 overall pick. That kid, Jaden, is rolling. Okay. I got a lot to now. I don't know how much of this you were able to see. Obviously, you were.
I saw enough of it. Yeah, I got a chance to see it. I saw enough of it. I was able to look at the Jumbotron when one game was going. I was able to look up and say, "Oh, that game looks good."
There he goes again. Yeah. As efficiently explosive and productive as we have seen a rookie quarterback. I mean, you could say some of those games that CJ Stroud gave us a year ago, like he's on that level right now. Like what Jaden is doing right now is, especially after this game, what we saw CJ Stroud evolve into very early last season. And that's high praise, high praise. But I think he is meeting that mark. He also ends up being their leading rusher, 39 yards. He throws for 254 and the 2 touchdowns. But what he did at the end of that game, Bucky, I don't know if you were able to see this here, but fourth quarter, the Bengals had started to make a comeback, right? It was a 1-score ball game, right? They missed the 2-point conversion. You can argue should have been a pass interference. It doesn't matter because of what Jaden Daniels did. Okay. So I'm watching this unfold and they are disorganized. Like in a weird way, right? Because Cliff Kingsbury, very experienced play caller, but like Jaden's like, get me the play sooner. You could hear him saying that. He's like, I need the play sooner so I can sit here, diagnose, and go exactly where I want to go with the football. But it's taking too long, and they're snapping it with 1-2 seconds left. And I get it. They wanted to run some time too, but it just felt like there was confusion. There's guys even on the play on the 3rd and 7 that he pulls out. Like Troy Aikman saw so much disorganization on the field. This was after a timeout. They come back on the field. So much disorganization. Troy's like, I don't think they have 11 players. And sure enough, ball gets snapped. Blitz comes. I mean, he's got an unblocked defender in his face and just launches it 30-something yards. I mean, dropped in the bucket on a dime to Terry McLaurin, who makes a tremendous catch, and the game was essentially over. I mean, that is as clutch as it gets for a week 3 rookie.
Okay, so everything that you're describing is exactly what we're talking about with Trevor Lawrence, right? You talk about the superhero stuff, and it doesn't matter what year you are in the league. Like, guys have it. Like, some guys just have that special ability. And the thing about Jaden coming in, it not only changes the way that you call plays, it changes the belief that your team has. So all of a sudden, we go from kind of treating the Washington Commanders as an afterthought to looking at them like, well, I mean, can they go to the playoffs? Like, can they make a run? Can they win the NFC East? Like, things that you never initially envisioned has all changed because of the way the quarterback performs and the way the quarterback is able to elevate the rest of the team. The stuff to me that was very impressive is when Jaden Daniels tells the thing, hey, we need to go for it. It reminds me of how Peyton Manning used to have these discussions with Tony Dungy. No, coach, we're going. No. We're going. Give me. And then he goes and does it. He not only throws it down and say, "Hey, no, we're going," but then he makes the play to go get it. And all that does, it not only it increases the belief that the coaches have in him, his teammates begin to look at him like, "Oh, we got a dude."
Yeah.
And when you have a dude, it changes everything. And the only thing I like, and I won't say that Jaden Daniels is this guy, but I was in Green Bay playing throughout Brett Favre's 3 MVP run. We won 3 straight MVPs. And I remember how magical it felt watching him play and how that magic changed the way the defense would talk about, hey, man, we're down, but hey, guys, if we just get number 4 the ball back, we got a chance.
Yeah.
That's now what's beginning to happen in Washington, where they're looking at Jaden saying, well, look, if he has the ball last, we got a chance to win it. That helps the team go from non-contender status to contender status overnight.
Man, it's again another good way to put it there, and the confidence that he instills in this team and that they now have in him. And here's the other interesting part of this is there's plenty of overreaction now with what's going on with the quarterback that was drafted ahead of him. Right? It's like, oh my gosh, did the Bears make a mistake in drafting Caleb Williams? Let's ease up on that for a second. Right? Let's ease up on that for a second. Let's take Jaden for what it is. Well, he is playing really well in this offense with these playmakers. And now the one thing that I will draw as a contrast to the Bears is the Commanders' offensive line is not, the Dallas offensive line from 10 years ago compared to the Chicago Bears. Like they are on pretty equal footing in terms of how we expected them to perform from a talent perspective. Like neither one of these offensive lines are amongst the best in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow the Commanders are figuring it out with Jaden. Obviously a tremendous athlete, but Caleb is obviously a great athlete as well. It's working a little bit better right now for Washington. So I think, kind of looking at that and seeing how the Commanders are finding ways for Jaden to be successful despite or in spite of an offensive line that's a little bit less than, maybe there's something to be gained from the Bears side of things, understanding that's what they're dealing with as well with their quarterback.
Yeah, maybe there's something there's something definitely to be learned from what Washington is doing and how it can help the Bears. The thing about Caleb compared to Jaden right now looks like he's playing the game in slow motion.
Yes.
Caleb looks like the game is really, really fast for him. And maybe some of that is just the pressure in terms of like the leakage that you're seeing in the pass protection. But there's something where Jaden has a calm and coolness to his game that is showing up.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at these teams and looking at how they're doing it, it's about being able to put your young quarterback in a situation to be successful.
All right, so the Commanders get their second win of the season there, Buck, of dropping the Bengals, though, in the process to 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, I know there's been a kind of collection of pieces kind of filtering in and out of the lineups here, especially, at the receiver spot. Jamar has been available for the season, but wasn't during training. He was great on this day, right? I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase were everything that you expected them to be. 6 catches on 7 targets, 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like any time that they were singled up on Jamar, Joe was going that way, right? And it helped them get back into the game with that last touchdown that they connected for. I can't necessarily like put my finger on like why it hasn't gone right for the Bengals other than that. They have been a slow starting team. Defensively, obviously, you're allowing a little bit way too much in the way of explosive plays in this game. But what are you seeing on the Bengals side of things?
Look, I think they were disjointed, and I think a lot of the off-field stuff impacted their on-field chemistry early in the season. T. Higgins got the injury, but before that, there was a little discord with the contract situation. Obviously, we know about Jamar Chase and the contract. I think it's hard to, no matter what professionals say, I think it's hard to keep the focus when everyone isn't 100% locked in on the team and the team's success and what's going on. And when you have your individual things, and look, the National Football League is a team where a 53-man roster are 53 independent contractors hoping to play together because everyone is worrying about their own business. But when you lose the novelty of what we had when we were kids playing on a team, it's hard to bring that back. And somehow the Bengals have to leave all that behind them and kind of focus on winning games. And if they win games, everyone will be rewarded in the end. It sounds like pie in the sky stuff, but that's the only thing that they can do right now to get back on track. They have to buy into the collective so that the individual can benefit down the line in terms of what they want.
All right, we'll see if the Bengals can figure this thing out here. 0-3 right now are these Cincinnati Bengals. And just as give us a glimpse of what they have coming up on the road at Carolina. So, look, Panthers they're not just a pushover anymore with Andy Dalton at quarterback. They've proven to be a competent football team. We'll see what that looks like. And then they've got the Baltimore Ravens at home. Giants on the road, Browns on the road. They got 3 of their next 4 on the road. So it's not like it's necessarily setting up for them just to walk into some success here over the course of the next couple of games, but they got to figure out a way to win some and get this season rolling before it gets late early here in Cincinnati. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for, the rookie draft. And we'll get to that right after this. Okay, the rookie draft from week 3 has now come and gone. And before we make our picks for week 4, Nabil, do you want to let us know exactly what the results were from week 3? I got a feeling that I won the quarterback spot with Jaden Daniels, but that I goose-egged everywhere else. So I don't know that 3. DJ got 5 points. So 3 from Malik Neighbors, who he took last week. And and then he got probably 2 somewhere else. Okay, Bucky, you got 3 points. But that's going to be just good enough for last because I got 4.
I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? 3 points. I don't know what this scoring system. Like what are we doing?
I don't know. It is what it is. So neighbors got DJ 3. Marvin Harrison got you 2. Brian Thomas Jr. got DJ 2. McConkey got me 1. Bowers got you 0, Bucky, and Burton got me 0. And then I had Jaden Daniels. So that's how that all worked out right there. Okay. DJ has got the first pick. So here's how that order is going to go. DJ is going to be up first, and Nabil has his first selection, and then is going to make his other 2 selections for him. So we'll see how much DJ hates Nabil by the end of this. So DJ 1, Bucky, you've got the second pick. I have the third pick. It comes back to me for pick 4. So I double up 3 and 4. Bucky, you're back at 5. DJ doubles up at 6 and 7. And then Bucky, you go 8, and I finish it at 9. All right. So DJ with the first pick has selected Malik Neighbors again for like the 3rd straight week, which I do not fault him for. He is the most explosive and dynamite rookie we have this year outside or in the skill position group. Bucky, that brings you up at 2.
Do we even have to talk about it?
Yeah.
Do I need to run the card up?
Yeah.
We're going to Washington. We're going to the nation's capital.
Yeah.
Give me the quarterback, Jaden Daniels.
Okay, Bucky going Jaden Daniels at 2, which means I could get the second quarterback here, which is kind of hard to figure out. Like Caleb's starting to put up numbers in a losing effort while Bo Nix is playing a little bit more efficient. And he got the Broncos a win last week. So I might just wait it out on the quarterbacks, and I might go Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going to go with him as my number 3 pick. Seems to be finding a little bit of a connection now with Kyler Murray. And then I am going to go. I'm going to make our first running back selection.
What are we doing?
I am going to take a running back here. Give me Braylon Allen, the running back for the New York Jets, splitting some time with our guy Breece Hall, but is finding the end zone. And I think Braylon Allen is going to be a stud. So give me Braylon Allen, which means you are up at number 5, Buck.
Okay, so you took who at 3? You took
Marvin Harrison.
Okay, Marvin Harrison Jr. Then Braylon, you took a running back, which is bananas in itself. But okay, let's see. I'm struggling this week, but I guess I will take wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. to have a bounce
back.
Going
back to BT. Okay.
To have a bounce back.
So that brings DJ up at 6 and 7, Nabil. What do you want to do here, buddy? Caleb Williams at 6. So he's taking the quarterback at 6. And then at 7, he's going Brock Bowers. Which means at 8, Bucky, sir.
I saw him last night, so I'm going to go with this guy. I'm going to go with Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman?
Keon Coleman. Going Keon Coleman.
Hold on. Oh, did you take a quarterback yet?
Yeah, I took that Jaden too.
Oh, that's right. Shoot. Okay. Which of course leaves me with Bo Nix at number 9.
You like that? You like Bo?
I'm good with that. I'm good with it. I'm totally good with Bo. Bo's a winner. Bo's a competitor. And Sean Payton's going to start, airing that thing out a little bit for Bo now that he's on the right fantasy team here this week. All right. So that's how it'll go. DJ's got a pretty good team. Malik Neighbors, Caleb Williams, Brock Bowers, Bucky going with Brian Thomas Jr., Jaden Daniels. And then what was your third pick, Buck?
I went with Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, right? All right, he got in the end zone for the Buffalo Bills, so we saw him last night.
After being benched for a little bit, he was able to get back in.
Hope he shows up on time for you. We know when kickoff is. All right. That's going to do it for us here. But we got a lot more content coming up for you this week, including a conversation with Joel Klatt, the lead college football analyst over on Fox Sports in the big noon kickoff. So excited to chat with Joel here, and that'll be coming up for you a little bit later. So for Bucky Brooks, I am Rhett Lewis. Thanks for being with us right here on Move This Day.